Hello, and welcome back to GiGi and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I'm Gigi.
And I'm JoJo.
And this is our Bizarre Adventure. And today, we have a bizarre little holiday special for you. Our first ever bizarre little holiday special.
It's exciting.
And so, for today, we have decided what better way to properly celebrate a nice, good old holiday than by having a good, important discussion about the JoJo's parts, specifically how much they rank in LGBTQ content, I'd say.
Yeah, so
This is a very heated topic because, let's face it, I can't even name you a JoJo part that isn't super gay. They at least have somewhat of a queer quality in it, if not just like the way they look, if not just the way they dress.
I used to work with somebody who wouldn't watch it just because he thought it was gay.
Yeah, I 100% believe that. It is a very, very interesting thing because, especially we talked about that at one point earlier, about how Jonathan was like a big, strong fighting hero type, and then it is kind of devolved over time. But even as the big, strong fighting hero types, they're still pretty, they're a little,
yeah, I get it.
So let's begin right at the beginning with
It's the best place to start. Jonathan
and Dio in love.
Jonathan
because
and Dio are in love. So.
No. I don't think that Jonathan loves Dio. I think that Jonathan has a complicated relationship with Dio. But I do think that Dio is like 1,000,000% in love with Jonathan.
Oh yeah.
That like Dio just like has nothing but like, that's why he's mad that he respects him so much. Like he's like, if I can't have you, no one can. And therefore, he takes his body for his own.
He 100% by the end. I think he like is hiding it for most of the part because he doesn't even realize it because he's too like obsessed with his own evil or whatever.
He doesn't know that his evil is actually just misguided gay feelings.
Just like most evil in the world. Mm-hmm. But by the end, when he's in his little head jar from Futurama, and Wayne Chen is holding him, and Wayne Chen's about to go kill Jonathan, and he's like insulting the crap out of him, and Dio's like, silence, like you will not dare insult the one person in the world who deserves respect. And I'm just like, oh wow, that's how it is, Dio. Like,
oh wow, you really care that much, huh, Dio?
You really, really like him, huh? It's gay the way that Dio takes Jonathan's penis and has sex for the next 100 years.
He wanted it.
He wanted
Jonathan's body so bad, he took it for himself.
I mean, and they were brothers for like 7 or 8 years. You think he didn't get a glimpse? Like, he knew.
They were in a locker room together at certain points, they're football
They were on
boys.
the football team together. They were both the stars of the football team. You don't get to be the stars of the football team without seeing some dick. That's for sure.
You don't get to be the stars of the football team without kissing a little bit on the
sidelines.
Getting a little
kissy in there.
Getting a little tushy slap.
But yeah, them being in love is like if they weren't destined to be enemies and be rivals and whatever, they would be in love. But also, even aside from that, there's also Speedwagon, who literally, imagine you're just hanging out, you're a criminal, you're hanging out in an alleyway, some really hot, honorable dude comes and kicks the crap out of you and your friend, and you're just like, wow, I just got the beating of a lifetime. I'm absolutely in love, and you just follow him around everywhere he goes, and
you just become his little puppy.
He literally, from that moment, he follows him until the very second that him and Irina leave on their honeymoon, and Speedwagon probably just wasn't invited on their honeymoon, and he would have gone if he was.
I know.
And Joseph makes a joke about this early in part 2, how Irina and Speedwagon like maybe got together or whatever, and Irina's like, no way. And like I assume that she wasn't lying. Like I assume she's true. And the reason is because Speedwagon respects the one true love of his life too much to steal his woman. Like he would never do that. So pretty gay.
If you asked me, that's a little.
They pack a lot of like homosexual tension into only 9 episodes. You know what I mean? Like
if there's one thing Iraqi can do, it's pack a lot of homosexual tension into just like a conversation.
Oh yeah.
Just an itty-bitty little statement. So, in terms of being gay, I think that part 1 is pretty gay.
I mean, because it can't be that gay, because Jonathan ends up with Irina, and like, and like whatever, I guess. Like technically, like and Dio.
He's a big strong man.
And
Whatever.
Dio is just a head, so he can't like caress Jonathan's body anymore or whatever. But like,
Actually, he can.
I mean, he does. But like,
not only can
in
he,
like a self,
he does.
in like a self way afterwards, though. But
do you think he still thinks of it as Jonathan's body?
absolutely.
He always refers to it as Jonathan's body. That's the other thing,
I was about to say, he has to, for like the legitimate reason of like the body fighting back, and that's what makes him weaker, and that's what lets Jotaro and Joseph like track him down in part 3. But also, like, even if that wasn't happening, I think he would always, for the rest of his life, just be like, from the neck down, I am the one man I ever loved. And just end it at that. That's how he would explain it to people. And he's Dio, so nobody would question him.
The one man he ever loved until...
No, yeah, until he loves another man.
Until he loves another man. But we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
We can't jump ahead just yet.
We're not there yet.
Right now, we are in part 2.
Yeah.
Where Joseph and Caesar are 100% in love.
Yeah.
They are boyfriends.
They are 100% boyfriends.
They are boyfriends.
Joseph only ends up with Suzy Q because
Caesar dies.
Yeah.
If Caesar did not die, they would have been together.
Even the opening is gay. The end of the part 2 opening with Joseph putting on Caesar's headband and then just screaming like in complete agony, like.
He lost him.
I know,
he
but
lost his one true man.
I know, but they and it's great too because it's not like enemies to lovers, but they start off like hating each other.
They have the Dio Jonathan.
They start off really not liking each other at all. Like they're really at odds. And then over the course of their grueling training and like defeating gods and whatever, they learn that they actually loved each other.
They learn to love each other.
Which is cute.
Very cute.
But
until
yeah, he just gets crushed.
He just runs right into it.
Yeah. Could have just not done that, but that's okay.
That's
That's
okay.
part of being a himbo is dying dramatically if you are an anime himbo. So Caesar filled his role. And also, obviously, further like as we get further, they'll dress gayer. But like Jonathan just dressed like a nobleman. Like he had his stupid little gay bow tie, but he just dressed like a nobleman for the most part. And Joseph wears a battle crop top. So
I mean, I kind of always felt like Jonathan was wearing kind of like a very tight tank top.
I don't remember at what point.
He does often dress normally, but Joseph almost always dressed like a New York himbo.
Yeah, and
that's what he is.
At his core.
And honestly, that makes him even more queer, is that he dresses on the streets of New York like a very fashionable himbo. And I'm like, damn, he's giving a little bit.
So
he's kind of
obviously-
serving, kind of slaying.
So Joseph and Caesar being gay is the #1 gay thing. But I also think that another gay aspect of it is the Pillar Men.
Yes.
Because it's 3 men who raise a baby together. Because they literally, Wamu, ECDC, and Cars kill the rest of the Pillar Men, but save Santana as a baby. And so they're literally like, we're 3 men and a baby. Like, that's gay. They all go into a nice eternal sleep together, like as close to each other as possible. They're like, we're all gonna hold hands and go to sleep together and wake up in 1,000 years and kill humanity.
I would watch that spin-off show.
Yeah, right? You just watch them
3
racing.
guys and a baby.
But it's the Pillar Men.
3 gods and a baby.
So
They also very much love each other. Like,
Yeah.
the Pillar Men make it very clear that they respect each other a lot. And, like especially with Cars, like, they love Cars.
Yeah,
they are in love with Cars.
they don't really like Santana because they kind of like treat him like a dog, which is kind of messed up because he's like their baby. But whatever. But the other 3
They're 3 men. You
respect
think
each other.
3 men know how to raise a baby?
No, they don't. That's true. But like, they're also just like a more evolved kind of human. So like, there's no reason to think that they shouldn't have wanted a woman Pillar Man to save so that they could
pillar
like
woman.
be a pillar. Yeah, that is so right. I don't know why I didn't say that. Like, if they wanted to, they could have just saved a Pillar Woman and then had a woman to be with. But they were like, no, 3 men. That's all I need for the next 1,000 years.
Were there
Like,
Pillar Women?
There were, yeah. There were Pillar Women in the clan. The clan was Pillar Men and Pillar Woman, and they killed all of the Pillar Women, and they killed 99% of the Pillar Men.
Interesting.
So they knew. Like, they were like, we could save a woman, and all 3 of them looked at each other in the eyes, and they're like, nah.
You know what we need? Each other.
Yeah, we need each other.
All we need is each other and our new baby.
Yeah, and then they're happy until, they're not. But
They're happy until,
But I think part 2 is very gay for both of those reasons.
I agree.
I'm willing to put it up in an S tier of gay. But wait, did we put part 1 in A?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, then I'm willing to put part 2 in S.
I honestly might redact that. Maybe I'll change it in editing. Because I'm thinking now, part 1 might be B.
And then part 2 can be A. I can live with that.
All right,
Yeah.
awesome. See, this is why I love being the editor, because I can literally just be like, the tier list is gonna change.
And then you can just cut that out. Like,
I just like hacker man, like
hacker man, I'm in. So then now we're on part 3.
A-tier queer.
Yeah, now we're on part 3.
Part 3, if I may begin.
Yes.
Jotaro and Kakyoin are both high school students, and therefore they can share a bed together. They can share a room. It's totally normal.
I mean, Joseph, who we already confirmed was at least A-tier gay, is the leader of the group. You think he's not, like, he's mentoring them on this journey? You think he's not giving them a little bit of, like...
Not only that, he brings a new boyfriend along with him.
Yeah, he's literally like, oh, I'm gonna go visit my daughter who lives in Japan, who I haven't seen in years, while I'm bringing my new boyfriend. And Avdol's like, well, of course I'm coming. Like, and they go, and they go, and they get Jotaro out of jail like a little family, and it's sweet. It's very sweet of them.
Very sweet of them.
And also, Jotaro, speaking of Jotaro, I get he has a wife in the end, but that's just because the bloodline needs to continue.
That's because Kakyoin died.
Yeah, Kakyoin died.
If Kakyoin was there, that's the same thing. If Caesar didn't die, they would be together. If Kakyoin didn't die, they would be together. Stop killing their boyfriends.
Yeah. And he can't marry a dolphin, so he had to marry a woman.
He had to marry a woman.
So he does. And whatever, that's fine. But like, all of part 3, the only time we see him interact with women is him being like, God, women are annoying.
Yep.
Like,
him calling them terrible things or being mean to them and pushing them off of him. It's so funny. He's just like, God, I hate them.
Yeah, he's just like, oh, women. And then he's like, oh, my brothers, Kakyoin and Falderev, oh, women. Like, it's a little suspicious.
He crosses the entire country with these boys, but I could not even see him going on a honeymoon with his wife.
No. We don't even get the wife's name. We don't even know her name. That's how little Jotaro cares about her. He never name drops her. He never bothers to give us supplementary data being like,
she doesn't have a name. She is his wife.
Yeah, at no point, at any point where his life is in danger, he's not like, oh, in my last moments, I'll think of my wife. Like, no, anytime he thinks of anything, it's part 3 adventure.
It's definitely, he's thinking about being in Egypt, and he's thinking about the Dio fight, the original fight, and everything that's happened to him. Yeah. He's thinking about seeing Polnareff again in part 5.
So, what else? Oh, I mean, Dio existing again and them like leaning even more heavily into his whole like charismatic sexiness wins people over. Like, obviously, it works mostly on women, or like Mariah is like completely obsessed with him or whatever. But he has a bunch of men under him, and they all basically say a variation of the same thing. They're like, oh, he inspired me with his beautiful soul.
His charisma, his character.
Yeah. And he never wears a shirt. He's always just rocking it, 6-pack out. Like,
I also really like that scene when Avdol is like, I had to physically run away from him because his charisma is too intoxicating. I had to flee in order to not fall under his loving spell.
I know this isn't gay either, but that scene is so funny. He's just like standing at the stairs, like staring at him, and he just jumps out a window. Like, he's just like, yeets himself out a window as hard as humanly possible and runs down the streets of Egypt. Like, so, I don't know. I feel like we just talked it up pretty well, but honestly, because I'm trying to figure out if I want to put it in A or B. I might, unfortunately, want to put it in B just because there isn't like a lot of like outward gay stuff.
It's like, more like heavily, it's like softly implied rather than heavily implied.
Yeah, and it's just like a gay adventure. It's 5 men going on an adventure.
We forgot to mention Cream.
Oh yeah, Vanilla Ice.
With Vanilla Ice.
Yeah, Vanilla Ice definitely is like
in love
Dio's bottom.
with Dio.
Yeah, for sure. That's like the gayest part. Is he's like, I love it. Dio's like, oh, I need blood, and Vanilla Ice is like, absolutely, and just cuts off.
Yes.
He's just like, I will kill myself so that you can have a drink. Like, you're not doing that for somebody you're not absolutely in love with. Like,
you're not doing that for someone who isn't ordering you around at other times of the day.
Yeah.
Let me just say.
So he's the gayest part, but he comes right at the end, and then he gets hate crimes by Polnareff and a dog. So. Yeah,
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Iggy would 1,000,000% commit hate crimes.
Oh yeah,
Iggy commits hate crimes.
Iggy's homophobic because of the Part 3 adventure. He hates the Part 3 crew, and
therefore,
he's just like, ah, these gay wads. Like, I'm gonna go walk around Egypt and ignore them. And then he finally like learns to love, and then is immediately killed by another gay man. He definitely went to heaven hating them. Like, and he goes to heaven. So clearly, in the JoJo's universe, being homophobic is not a sin enough to send you to hell. So that's good to know.
Yeah, that is good to know, actually.
It's just good to keep up there.
All right, I think I agree with you with it being in D tier.
Yeah, I like it, and there's a lot of implication, but there's nothing like actually that gay about it.
It's not
unfortunately.
as strong as I wish it was, though I do still think it's a pretty gay part.
Yeah, I agree.
But what's even gayer than that is Prince versus David Bowie.
Yeah.
And honestly, I see not only that, I see that as being incredibly gay, but also, let's face it, it's a part about friendship.
Yeah.
It's a part about loving each other. Oh my God, that's the most me type thing ever. My little LGBTQ heart is just imploding. It's
Also,
great days.
Also, I was talking about Joseph and his crop top being gay. Josuke literally looks so fruity. He has his like heart-shaped school uniform, his gelled up hair, all of his crazy, he's just got trinkets all over himself. He's like one of those gay people who has a backpack with like 800 pins on it. Like,
He's just like me.
he's just like you.
And not only that, but he's got the big hair, and if you talk to him about it, like if you say something to him, he'll kill you.
Yeah.
Which is very much like, I'm slaying, and if you have anything to say to me, I'm gonna prove to you that I'm that bitch.
And so, yes, I agree. And not only is his outfit gay, he has the gayest looking of all the JoJo stands. His stand is bright pink with a heart motif.
It literally, it's the trans colors.
Yeah.
It's the trans flag colors.
Yeah, with hearts all over it.
I know.
Josuke supports trans rights for sure. And so he doesn't have any friends too. Like, that's the thing, is he's a delinquent, and so he doesn't really have any friends. And then Koichi and Okuyasu move in like basically at the same time, and he immediately is just like, these guys don't know I'm gay, they can be my friend.
And then him and Okuyasu are definitely just like a little in love.
They literally go on a date. The episode where they go to Tonio's restaurant is only them because it's them going on a date.
Yes.
Like nobody else is invited because it's their date night. Like,
Okuyasu specifically was like, hey, let's go to this new restaurant.
and Josuke's like, oh, should I call everyone else? And Okuyasu's like, no, I already asked everyone else. Everyone else is busy. Let's go.
And
Like,
no one else
No.
in the entire town of Morio. Every single stand user is busy right now. We cannot see anyone else. Just you and me.
yeah.
You, me, and Tonio.
Like, I guess we have less to talk about, but it seems more heavy-handed than the Part 3 stuff, just visually and implication-wise. Like, the whole thing being friendship, the way all the characters look, them, like, befriending literally everybody, like, and they're in a nice, big, loving friend group together. Like, Koichi gets to be straight, he gets a girlfriend, good for him. But, like, that's just so he doesn't interfere in the Okuyasu-Josuke thing.
That's true.
He didn't want it to be a love triangle. He wanted Okuyasu and Josuke to be in love, so he gave Koichi, Yukuko, that's right. So I'm willing to give Part 4 an A.
Yeah, honestly, especially if not for the fact that it is Prince and David Bowie inspired, like, that's ultimate gay warfare right there, right in front of us.
Also, I don't know why, but Killer Queen, I know that Kira is straight, because he's attracted to women's hands. Like, I guess that counts
I
as
think
being
he would just
straight.
be attracted to hands, all right? I think if he saw a beautiful pair of manly hands.
That's probably it. It's just that in that time in Japan, there weren't a lot of men who had very beautiful hands, but if there were, he would have been happy to go for that as well, maybe. But something about Killer Queen gives me kind of gay energy.
Is it the fact that it's a little kitty?
Yeah, he's just a little kitty.
He's a little kitty cat.
And then he gets another kitty cat in his tummy. That one's a plant. Like,
he gets a stray cat.
yeah, he adopts cats and takes care of some other dude's wife. Like,
Do you think Killer Queen and Stray Cat love each other?
yeah, they're gay.
Those two cats are gay.
God, they're gay cats.
Aww.
Wow. Yeah, so definitely A. That's a good
Definitely
realization.
A.
Definitely A.
Okay.
Okay, now Part 5.
Now, Part 5 has so many gay couples
Yeah,
in it.
Part 5, I'm just saying it right now, is going to be S tier because it's the first part to have explicitly gay characters in it. Like, and it definitely does. It has at least 3 that I can name, like at least
And-
3 couples, so 6 characters. And then a bunch of other like implications just like the rest.
Very heavily implied relations and admiration between people a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So
the
let's
couples.
list them.
Yeah.
There's
Sorbet and Gelato are the first ones. They're the bosses. They're the last members of the Assassin Squad who we never meet because they get killed before the story takes place. And that's why the Assassin Squad betrays them.
they're those ones in the ice cube.
Yeah, they're the ones who get put to a bunch of like picture frames or ice or
Yes.
whatever, and then like caught up. And
Really cool also.
And not only are they like pretty much like explicitly gay, but they get drawn and like they're like all over
They're
each
drawn
other.
like
they're-
literally holding each other.
Yeah.
Like
So they're gay and they get killed for it. The boss is like, well, I have to kill a member of the Assassin Squad, and Doppio's like, oh, the gay ones, right? And Diablo's like, yeah, absolutely the gay ones. Like, and so they're gay. We don't really know a lot about them, but they were gay. Then we get, I don't even remember their names. I know their stand names. The stand users, Talking Head, and the shark one. What's the shark one called?
Clash.
Clash. Yeah, Clash. They're gay. That's another gay couple, and they get hate crimes. But I mean, what are you gonna do? If you're a villain and you're gay, and that's that.
I think that goes also to Chocolata and Secco.
Yeah, and that's the last one.
They are kind of like a couple. Like though they're not like,
They're a very non-traditional couple.
but they are definitely.
I was about to say, if anything, it's like if anything, it's just leading into like furry gay territory. Like Secco is like Chocolata's like dog, but like they love each other up until then when Chocolata dies, Secco betrays him. But up until that point, Secco like is full on to the love train. Like he's just got a little messed up mind, but he's into it up until that point.
He likes his sugar cubes.
He loves his sugar cubes. Who doesn't? Sugar cubes are good. And honestly, I'd be willing to say that Doppio is gay for the boss because he doesn't understand their relationship. Like he doesn't know that they're the same person.
That was what I was going to say when you brought up the Doppio Diablo thing of being like, yeah, they literally just hate crimed the Assassin Squad, which I think is really funny because that was Diablo trying to be like, there's no way I'm gay.
Yeah.
But he's secretly always talking to Doppio as if he's literally like in love with him. And they're like, there are so many lines of like Diablo just being like, you are my best.
Yeah.
Like, you are my greatest.
You are the best one. Like, you're the only person I can trust. I need you. Like, not to mention, I'm sure he's got some PTSD because the one woman that he ever loved led to Triss existing. So if he was gay the whole time and never had a moment of accidental bisexuality, like, he wouldn't be in this mess at all. He would have continued to rule as the underground boss of Italy forever. Then we get Giorno's outfit, which, while also looking gay, the anime bright pink color scheme of it, I think, also adds to it. Because you have to keep in mind that it's a school uniform.
It also has ladybugs on it.
Like he got accepted to the school, and they were like, here's the uniform, and he was just like, that's cool, but I'm gonna need it in bright pink. And they were like, what? And he was like, yeah, it's a whole thing. Like, I need it in bright pink. And they were just like, okay. Like, they didn't want to like get slapped with a lawsuit for that, so they were just like, whatever, we'll just do it. Like,
I don't want to get slapped with a stand for that, dude.
Yeah. And then, so speaking again now of Giorno being gay, Narancia, even though he hate crimes the assassins, he is also an ally, because after the White Album fight, and Mista's like on the verge of death, and he's laying on the bench, and Giorno's like healing him because he's got to like slowly take out all the bullets because he shot himself like 18 times in that fight. And then they come up on the boat, and Narancia's like looking for them with Aerosmith, and from his point of view, all he sees is like Mista laying there and Giorno like on his dick, and Mista be like, oh, it's so sensitive, ooh, ooh, ooh. And Bruno's like, do you see them, Narancia? And Narancia's like, no, I don't see them anywhere. Like he totally covers for them.
No, I don't see him anywhere.
He's like, oh, I'm gonna let my boys have their moment. Like they just want to fight. Like they just like Mista deserves a little relaxation after that. Like
now let's talk about how Narancia is also not only a gay ally, but also literally is gay for Fugo.
Yeah.
They definitely like each other.
Yeah, I mean,
they've got a little bad, like, Fugo's got anger issues. They've got a strange relationship going.
They have like a mentor-mentoree relationship, but
kinda
like it definitely
Giorno and
goes,
Bruno
yeah,
as well.
but it goes a little bit further than that, especially because like when they're leaving after Trish almost gets killed and they're leaving to betray the boss and Fugo stays behind, Narancia almost stays behind. but only because of like Fugo. Like he stays behind because Fugo doesn't go, and he's like, I don't know if I can leave without like Fugo, and then he does obviously in the end, but like he has to go through a whole like inner turmoil thing about it because that's his dude. Like
He just lost his boyfriend.
I know. And you have to lose your boyfriend to be with your friends. Like that's a hard sacrifice.
Then you can just date one of the other members.
Yeah, but he doesn't have to worry about that.
Yeah. He really can't worry about that anymore.
Yeah. Oh, I just thought of something else yet. And this isn't, I guess, a confirmed thing. But have you heard the headcanon of when Silver Chariot Requiem gets like hit with the Requiem arrow and then he just takes a stand and starts walking randomly, that it's like Polnareff's desire to get the arrow away from Diavolo that makes it happen. And then people are like, oh, not only that, he's trying to get it to the person that he knows he can trust. And so like the headcanon is that Silver Chariot Requiem was very slowly walking in whatever direction Jotaro was. So like wherever he was on the planet, Silver Chariot Requiem was just gonna slowly walk towards him. Because he's gay.
Because they're related.
It took him being a paraplegic to understand, but in the end, he realized he did love Jotaro. He didn't want to step on any toes because he knew Kakyoin's like death was fresh, and that was a lot for Jotaro. But I believe that. I'm willing to go for that as well.
So
S tier.
S tier.
S tier, yeah.
S tier queer.
And it's great. It's great for it.
All right, now we get into Stone Ocean, which is all about women.
Yeah, it takes place in a women's prison.
All women's prison. Let's go.
I mean, I guess there's a male section of the prison, but
Don't
we
worry about
mostly are in almost
Don't even
always
look at
the
it.
women's prison.
Don't even look
portion
at
of
it.
the prison.
It's not there.
It sounds stupid because like I don't know if it's gonna come off as sexist or whatever, but like it being an all women's part just makes it like slightly gayer because all they do is interact with women for the most part, and they like are in love with each other in like a like a trusting, loving way.
It's also another part about friendship
Yeah.
with that part 4 energy of being about friendship and being about like bonding with each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, doesn't someone literally tell Jolene that she throws like a queer or something in it?
Yeah. In the Marilyn Manson fight, they take this out for the anime, but in the
Yeah, I
Marilyn
know.
Manson fight, because that whole fight is them teaching Foo Fighters how to throw a ball because she has just gotten into her
Yes.
body, so they don't know how to throw a ball. And Foo Fighters throws it like that or whatever, and Jolene's just like, you throw like a queer, that's so funny, like, and it is. And you know why Jolene knows that?
Because she's one of them.
It takes one to know one.
Takes one to
She
know
looks
one.
right at her and she's like, oh, that's how a queer throws for sure.
But this is also where we get to go back to the point of Dio's other man that he has ever loved,
Yeah.
which is Poochie.
Poochie.
We get to see them laying together in bed and talking about things and just like really loving each other, just sharing each other's company and loving it, which is something that you never see from Dio.
He literally doesn't do that with anyone else, like at any point ever. Like every single other person, he literally directly controls them with like flesh buds and vampire charisma, or he just like, they're in love with him and they're obsessed with him and he's just like, worm, like go do what I tell you. Like Poochie is literally the only person ever who he treats as an equal in any way. And in the scenes we see of them, they're just laying together in bed. If they were just having their reading time, they could be standing, they could be sitting at opposite ends of a table. Like there's like I've never been like, oh, you want to come over and read a book? We're gonna lay in my bed together and read a book with
And Dio's gonna take his shirt off.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna take my shirt
Gonna
off
take
and
my
you're gonna
shirt
lay
off.
beside me in your full fit. But don't worry, I'll be laying here, just
yeah.
here,
Yeah,
reading
just
about the
here.
Mona Lisa.
And then, furthering that, Dio, bisexual icon that he is, while he's in love with Poochie, has a couple of other kids. And when Poochie finds out that these kids exist, he basically adopts them. All 3 of them, like they're brought to him by fate, but all 3 of them were like complete screw-ups. One of them's a drug addict, one of them has such bad panic attacks that they like literally can't exist, and the third one has the backstory to the movie Holes. And so his life is hard.
So his life is, and so in conclusion, his life is hard.
I mean, it's a sad backstory.
That's the best way to describe it. And so in conclusion, it is sad.
It is, and Poochie shows up and he's like, I believe in you guys. Like, you guys have the blood of the one man that I've ever loved, and so I know that you can like overcome your personal issues and like become powerful stand users. All 3 of them go from being like real life normal fuck ups with no like redeeming qualities basically whatsoever to being like 3 very, very powerful stand users just because Poochie's like, I loved your dad and I believe in you. Like, He adopts his sons. That's pretty gay. I don't know what to say. Like,
They raise kids together. I don't know what to say.
yeah,
That's about it.
that's about it.
So, honestly, I think it's kind of it's a little bit A tier at least.
I would say A tier. I have one more point, and it's that this didn't play out exactly this way, but Anasui was originally supposed to be like a genderless character. Like they were like he was supposed to be like somebody who didn't look like a man or a woman, and then it didn't end up like being something that Jump was ready for, so he made him a man. But that's why in his first appearance in the manga he looks like a woman, and because he wanted him to be like a they them really. And he's the one who's in love with Jolene. So like originally a they them should have been Jolene's love interest. Like, and they do end up together. So like Jolene loves the most androgynous man that is like ever existed in a JoJo's heart. Like,
And also, for a large portion of it, she kind of doesn't. Like, for a large portion of it, she's kind of pushing him away, which I think is
like, I
even
don't wanna be
funnier. Like,
straight.
she's always like, ugh, icky man thing.
Yeah.
Icky man thing in an entirely lace fit, like, in an entire fishnet top.
Yeah,
Icky.
I know. So I'm willing to give part 6 an A, a solid A.
Solid A.
High A.
All right, now we get on to Steel Ball Run,
Steel Ball Run.
which is Johnny and Gyro, which is our new Zeppeli.
Yeah.
And honestly, I mean, the relationship between the Zeppelis and the Joestars is usually like mentor-mentoree, but in this one it really feels like they're like kind of best friends.
They definitely are, and by the end they like would like be together. Like
It's
they
just like Caesar and Joseph.
there's this one, yeah. I really think that they're the perfect like mid-level mix of, not in a gay way, but in like a story way, of Joseph and Caesar and Jonathan and William, because Gyro is his mentor, but they also love like learn to like respect and become actual friends, when at the beginning they like aren't really, but not in like the same like level as Joseph and Caesar, but mostly just because Jonathan did. But in the end, they become so close. There's so many scenes in, especially close to the end of part 7, of them either like right before a battle or right after a battle, like just bonding and having like them time, and like they give like so many secrets to each other. Like there's so many scenes of them just hanging out, and one of them being like, I thought of something funny, do you want to hear it? And the other one being like, yeah, of course, and then always laughing no matter if it's funny or not. They tell each other like their fetishes, like Gyro has a little stuffed bear that he brings everywhere with him, because it's like his stuffy that he loves, and he tells Johnny about it, and like they're very open and honest with each other, and if possible they would have ended up together as well. Their love was ripped from us by the hands of death and by the reality that Johnny needed to find a woman so that the series could continue.
So that we could continue with the bloodline, because what are we gonna do without it?
Yeah, but I'm trying to think if there was anyone else explicitly gay in the part, and no one is coming to mind. But
Funny Valentine is a little.
Funny Valentine, I think, is too focused on his goals to be like gay. But if it's a very part 1 Dio kind of issue.
Yes.
Where if he didn't have to be so totally evil, he would find some time to be gay.
It's just misguided gay thoughts.
Wait a second. I do remember a gay part. There's a character, Hot Pants, who,
Oh, yes.
and they don't know, and Hot Pants pretends to be a boy
Yes.
for like the entire
did know
time,
that.
and they're like really mean to him, and he's a boy, and then they reveal he's a girl, or she's a girl. I don't know why I was saying that. And they don't really get that much nicer to her, but I don't know. That's gay. She was cross-dressing. She had to pretend to be a man to get into the race, which I don't know if that was necessarily true, but she does it anyways. Like, maybe she just enjoys it.
Who's to say? Maybe it just makes her stand out less.
Yeah.
But even despite that, I want to say that I think Steel Ball Run is E tier gay.
Yeah, I think so as well. It's the only like really gay part is Johnny and Gyro, and they don't get to be really gay until like the later part, because they have to like learn to love each other.
They had to fall in love.
Yeah, which is like gay, but like it's not the main focus of the story in any way. So I would say B as well. Part 8, and I'm just gonna say it, and I'm really upset about it. I think part 8 is like the least gay part.
Yeah.
I hate having to say that. It makes me very sad even. But like, Josuke explicitly has Yasuho as his woman love interest. Like, they are in love. Like,
Female Koichi.
Female Koichi is his love interest, and they fall in love over the course of the story. And like a big part of the story is them falling in love. And like, unfortunately, they're straight. Maybe they're both bi.
For us.
They might both be bi, but they're in a straight seeming relationship. Like that, and there's nothing to imply that they're bi, but I'm just gonna pretend in my mind.
I kind of just assume every JoJo character is probably
at least a
bi.
little bit somewhere, right?
They just are kind of like pan version it.
The only other like romantic thing going on is Josuke's like adopted. Well, Josuke's the one who's adopted, but Josuke's adopted brother, Joshu, also is in love with Yasuho. So like, they just fight over her.
Yes.
But like, it's still two dudes fighting over a girl. Like, it's still a straight thing going on.
It's a very heterosexual sitcom type beat. After school special.
Yeah. The only other like relationship I can think of is one of the villains. Like, their backstory is that they were in like, because the villains of Part 8 are like a different species. They're kind of like the Pillar Men, where they're like not human, but they look human. And so one of them fell in love with a human, and then ended up like, because of that, getting like screwed, like hurt and like messed up, and like they're basically like a paraplegic by the point you meet them in the story, and they don't like love people anymore because they were hurt. But it was still, they fell in love with a woman. They were a man, they fell in love with a woman. So like, it's a very straight part. And I guess, I mean, Josuke wears a sailor uniform. The Navy is gay. That's something, right?
He does look, he looks a little, he looks like a cute little sailor boy in that outfit.
He's not as gay looking as Giorno or Josuke, but I'd say he's more gay looking than Jonathan or Jotaro.
Yeah. It's a sliding scale.
It's a sliding scale, and he's right in the middle.
He's right in the sweet spot of like, he's looking a little bi.
Yeah.
He's giving the energy.
But no, I was racking my brain. Yeah, I think it's gonna have to be the Jonathan tier. Like,
it's not
C-tier.
It's not C tier. It's not a bad tier. It's just JoJolian tier.
It's just JoJolian tier.
It is just the JoJolian tier.
I'm sure if I do a full read-through of JoJolian, which there's so much. JoJolian ran for like over 10 years. Like, you gotta really do a lot of reading to get through it. I'm sure I could pull out a couple of more gay instances, but like,
compared to the others,
the main story points are mostly straight or just not explicitly gay enough for it to like
warrant
really
that much support.
Yeah.
But you know what is really gay? The newest part that just dropped, because though it's not confirmed, it seems likely that we may have a trans character or a character who is not along the normal definitions of gender, which is immediately amazing. No matter what, that's gonna be great.
The worst possible scenario is that Dragona is just like a femboy. Like they just are a dude who likes to pretend to who likes to dress up like a girl and like be perceived as a girl, which isn't as gay as them being trans or them being like a they them or them being like whatever the Hawaiian word is it for the third gender. Yeah, mahu. But like, that's still pretty gay. Having like a femboy Joestar is still gayer than all the other Joestars who are basically just straight or implied bi.
Well,
like,
it is also expressed that Dragona is like taking estrogen or something.
Yeah,
like,
she had implants.
Yes.
Like, she has implants, like, or not,
so it's
not
implied
silicone,
that,
but they're like injects or something. So
yes.
It's something for sure.
So it implies that they are doing that as well.
We need to wait, obviously. The story just started. We need to find out a little bit more. I'm hoping that it gets brought up or addressed somewhat, at least a little bit in some way. And then we'll be able to, once we get any sort of like real confirmation from Dragona in any way, I'm willing to like 100% put it in S tier. But even with no confirmation and us just knowing that she is born male but looks female now, that's enough for me to want to put it in S tier anyways.
They listen to Dua Lipa, that's enough for me to put it in.
They listen to Dua Lipa and they kill cops. That's the gayest thing you could
That's
have.
the most, that's S tier. That is literally S tier gay activity. That's it.
But
that's what I do. That's what we do after work.
Yeah, that's where I'm going. I have what's scheduled to do that right
after.
Yeah,
we gotta go. We gotta get done with this so we can go do that.
So it's definitely an S tier, but I'm hoping by the end of part 9, it is like the undisputed like triple S tier, like gayest JoJo.
There's a tier above
ever.
S tier that's just
Dragona.
Yeah.
But we just don't know enough. I mean, Jodio also is in full support of his sister, brother, like whatever they are. Like, like regardless of what they actually are, there's something that's not the usual, not the norm, and JoJo is in complete open like support of that. So that alone makes him the allyist Joestar right off the bat. Like
The ally we all need.
yeah, and so definitely S tier, but I'm just hoping it gets even S tier.
Even gayer.
Yeah, and I'm confident. I'm confident we're gonna get there.
If there's one thing I'm confident in when it comes to Araki, it's that the part can always get gayer.
I mean, their boss, because they are in like a drug thing, their
Yes.
boss / principal is like an 8.5
Yep.
foot tall superwoman.
Yes.
Like she's just
That's
like a perfect
sick as
woman in every
hell.
single way, and she's also huge and intimidating and like
Like,
amazing. Like,
how do I get her number?
and yeah, no, literally, we all want her. But she has a beautiful husband at home. She's not gay, but she has the world under her boot. She is the most powerful woman we've ever seen. And
Icon.
we don't know the fourth member of their team yet. They just call him Hot Dog Guy because he's eating a hot dog when we meet him, or not when we meet him, but at the end of the part when he like comes in to like join the squad. But he's in a pretty fruity outfit too. He walks in like he literally walks in with the hot dog like this and with his other hand going like this to like wave hello, like.
Hello.
Like
and
this-
he's eating the glizzy.
Yeah, and he's stuffing down that hot dog. I'm surprised he even took a bite. I'm surprised he didn't just swallow it in one bite. Like, there's something going on there for sure. So, part 9 is already S tier, but I'm very confident it's gonna get triple S tier. It's gonna be the gold standard. I'm ready for it. I'm very ready.
I guess that's it.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
concludes our very special episode on queer pride,
Yeah.
which
April Fools, the joke is that everything's gay. Everyone in JoJo's is bi. Everyone sitting at the table. You watching, if you just heard me say this, you're bi.
you 100% are a little fruity
Yeah,
at least.
you even if you were like 100% straight,
about it.
it's now only 99%.
about
Sucks
it.
for you if you're not okay with that. You should have turned the video off. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't make the rules. But go watch JoJo's. Be even gayer.
And then if you're attracted to any of the JoJo's,
Gay.
yeah.
So go do that. Go prank somebody. Make it a gay-based prank even. I don't know how you're gonna do that, but you're partly gay now, so I trust you to figure it out.
Yeah.
And
Queer pranks only right now.
oh yeah.
This is when the queers hate crime you back.
Go prank a cop.
Oh, there's one thing I want to do. Prank a cop. And with that, I guess I should probably go before I get arrested.
Yeah. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having us.